everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am here finally with the process video for you. And this is for Wild Whisper Designs, and I am playing with a bunch of different pieces of paper, and I'm gonna create a really fun grid. And you guys have to promise not to freak out when you see what I do to my picture. It looks really awesome, so don't freak out. I'm giving you fair warning. All right, so I'm taking some white cardstock and adding some Party Dress pink ink from Catherine Pooler around the edges. And that same pink is going to kind of be carried out throughout my entire layout. And I've cut this white cardstock a little bit smaller so that it's going to fit inside the black cardstock to kind of create a border or a frame, whatever you want to call it. And so I wanted to create a grid, because lately I have just been obsessed with grid layouts again. I go through stages where I really enjoy a grid layout. And in the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, we have started doing weekly Zoom calls on Wednesdays and Saturdays, just so that we can hang out and chit chat and hopefully all make some creative time during the week, even though we're all super busy. And so during those calls, I want to be able to talk and chat with everybody, but I also want to be able to get some creating in. So I've been coming up with projects that I can do during that time. And one of them are these flowers that you see on my desk. And so what I did is I took a bunch of leftover Wild Whisper paper from Pam Bray's watercolor collection and a Vicky Bouton stamp, and just stamped a bunch of florals. And then I sat while I was talking to the ladies on the call and fussy cut all of those flowers. So I keep them all in this little basket on my desk, and now I have all of these gorgeous flowers to create with already ready to go. And so that makes it a lot kind of faster and easier when I sit down to create a layout, because I already have all of those kind of embellishing things done. So then I'm going to take a bunch of paper from the City Lights collection. And this is kind of a bright, bold collection all about downtown in the city. And so I want to make a grid that has 3 cards across and 3 in each row. So it's going to be 3 across the top, 3 across the bottom. And I will tell you, after I looked at this layout, once the video was done, all the pictures were done, I looked at it and I think I'm going to move something. So you guys are going to have to help me decide if I'm going to move something or not. So I have the pink background paper and the yellow background paper. And then I also have that blue that has the fireworks. And then the orange card is going to stay basically just the card, because it has this really cool quote about walking through a city. And I really wanted that to be included. And so then I pulled out these little cards that say City Lights and Downtown, and then I'm just going to start layering up my flowers. So because I had all of that stamping and fussy cutting done ahead of time, it's going to go pretty quickly for this layout to come together. Now, because I'm using a white cardstock base, as the foundation, I know that I want to add some of that inking around my cards. So off screen, I went ahead and did that. And then I'm also going to go back to this splotch stamp that I absolutely love from Wild Whisper Designs and add this in the top left and the bottom right. Now, when you look at these cards, I've added the Party Dress pink ink around them. And so I wanted something to kind of tie all that together. So I grabbed some, you can see I'm tapping my fingers on my desk. Now what do I want to do? Because I want to have a little bit more mixed media in the background. And so I'm going to grab some Pink Fresh Studio watercolor ink and a paintbrush, and I'm just going to do a few splatters that kind of match everything. And then I'm going to take the end of this fine tip brush that I was doing my splatters with, and I'm going to go ahead and add some little plus signs. I started doodling some circles and was oh, I could add some little plus signs. And so I'm going to do that, and they end up, some of them being covered up, but I kind of like that little extra detail. And it was a really fun way to just add a little something extra to my stamping. And of course, because I'm impatient, I end up smearing it, but you never know because it's covered up with the grid. So this is the part with my photos. If you look at my photos, they have pink around the edge. Because yes, in fact, I inked the edges of my photos. And you guys, it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay because I have all these photos digitally and it adds a really cool look. So you might be somebody who is sitting there going, oh my goodness, she did not just do that. But seriously, you guys, try it because it looks so cool. And it made them match all of the pattern paper edges, which I really, really like. So now I'm getting all those little florals in there. And some of them are going to get popped up on dimensional adhesive kind of as we go. And there's a couple of different sizes, which sort of helps with building my little clusters. I don't have a lot of embellishments that I wanted to use on this particular collection. It's mainly just the pattern paper and the photos. And so I added a bunch of flowers around this little photo in the middle. And they're not going to end up staying there. I'm going to end up taking them away because it just gets to be too much. But I have that blue firework paper up in that top corner. And I was sitting here kind of thinking as I'm working on this that it might look kind of cool to put some of these little flowers in the centers of those little firework areas. So eventually, as I keep layering up flowers and layering up flowers, and I just, you know, keep going and going because sometimes more is just what you feel like you need. So I add a bunch of them, and I'm going to decide that the ones in the middle don't get to stay there because it's just kind of overpowering the picture. It's just a little too much. But I do like them in the centers of those fireworks up in that top card that I created. So I am going to go ahead and put those on some foam and ruffle up the edges just a little bit and add them to the 3 spots where the fireworks are. And at first I was thinking I was going to like let them trail off of the edge, but then I end up going back and deciding that that's not what I want to do. So this is that point where I'm starting to go, holy moly, I have a lot of flowers in the middle of this layout, and I don't really have any room for journaling, and I'm not really sure that I'm loving it. So you're going to see me start to tear stuff apart, which is kind of how I work. Like, sometimes it stays together, and sometimes the glue gets pulled up and torn apart. And that is just going to have to be okay, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and keep adding flowers to these outside ones. And I haven't, like, the middle's bugging me, but I haven't fixed it yet. I'm still kind of letting it be. And so I'm going to go ahead and add my title, and I'm just going to have it say Chicago Love, and it's going to go on this pink card. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it totally works for me. I make it like a bouncing baseline, so I don't have to worry about making sure all of those letters are straight, especially because it's going on like that pink paper that has lines on it, and I don't necessarily want to have to measure it out and make sure that they're all like sitting perfectly. So it's just going to say Chicago Love up there, which I think is a totally appropriate title because we all completely fell in love with Chicago. So I go ahead and I add my journaling to that yellow card in the middle. And that's where I need you guys to help me. So I feel like now that I'm looking at the layout, that yellow card needs to be in the top right-hand corner and the fireworks should be in the middle bottom. So you tell me what you think. If I should make that change now that the layout is done or if I should leave it the way it is. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.